So we had Mount Weld, and we took Mount Weld and we said, okay, what can we do here? Why have the big companies failed to really bring this into production, and what's the difference we can make? And my knowledge of China came into account there. And so our first thought was, let's take the material out of Mount Weld, concentrate it, and take it to China, where the technology is and where really clearly there's a low cost base for processing it into those end materials. So between 2001 and about 2004, that's what we thought we'd do. And we in fact had a space in China, we got all our permits in China. The process had been permitted in Australia before, but the economics of doing it in Australia were very difficult. So we then went and reapplied and got all our permits to do this in China. And then China decided rare earths were even more valuable than they said before, and they shut the gate in terms of exporting material and started to put export quotas on. And then it occurred to us, well, it's madness to take this material to China and not be able to re-export it out of China, because our whole business strategy was to supply the non-China market. So we had to shut the door on China and find somewhere else. Now, this business is a global business. It is not a domestic business. It can go anywhere. The value of the material is high, and so what you do is you mine and concentrate where the material is. You then take the concentrate to where your most efficient, cost-effective and pragmatic place to process and refine the materials is. We looked around the world and we had a couple of destinations we became very seriously interested in, one in the Middle East and the east coast of Malaysia. We've all forgotten the tiger economies of the 1990s, but there's massive infrastructure in Malaysia associated with the boom of Southeast Asia in the 1990s. It stopped as China took over for 10 years. I think it's coming back again now. But we found on the east coast of Malaysia a wonderful platform of industrial capacity that was based on the gas and oil fields off the east coast of Malaysia, and the use of those for plastics products and stems and so on. And in particular in Kuantan, in the Gebeng industrial estate, you have the world's major corporations, chemical corporations, BASF, Grace and others, with very good infrastructure, very good access to reagents, very good access to energy, and most particularly very good and well-trained engineers, local Malaysian engineers. So we thought this is very attractive. We spoke to the Malaysian government. They made it particularly obvious that they were interested in the next major development on the east coast. There'd been some level of stagnation for 10 years in that part of the world in terms of major industrial development because everybody left after the Asia crisis. Everybody left that part of the world and went off to China. So they made it really importantly worthwhile for us to come back to Malaysia. And we've been absolutely thrilled with the reception we've had in Malaysia from the Malaysian people. It's a very solid industrial economy, growing very fast. Malaysia is moving up the value chain. Malaysia, the 2020 vision, is about technology, science and knowledge developing the economy. And it's right. The way out of poverty is education, science and technology. We're bringing that, and we're helping develop the 2020 vision for Malaysia. Our industry is a skilled, semi-skilled but skilled industry. We will employ 350 semi-skilled and skilled people at quite advanced level. But more importantly, the products from our industry go into some of the most advanced science in the world, and we will bring ultimately a cluster of downstream developments for high-tech products in Malaysia, where Malaysia will become a hub of the world in the development of rare earth products downstream. It's a very exciting vision, and Malaysia has the capacity to do that. The government understands the vision and is very supportive of that particular direction and idea. So we think we're bringing knowledge and technology to a capable environment. We're bringing, of course, capital, and importantly, we're bringing the raw material, because you can't have a refinery without the basic raw material. The raw material, of course, is coming from the Mount Weld mine in Western Australia. That's important but incidental. It's the value of the plant in Malaysia and the way people operate in Malaysia and the capacities and technology and knowledge that's in Malaysia that will be the long-run asset of this company. Because one day Mount Weld will not be there. There will be other sources of supply, but the refinery in Malaysia will continue to be the hub of global rare earths outside of China. So we think it's a very good place to be. We've been very encouraged by the government. We've been very encouraged by the people. We have no Australians, no Europeans in the management structure within our Malaysian operation. It is 100% Malaysian in employment. And that's fantastic. It's their home. people make it their home and they look after it like their home. So we're very pleased to be there. We're there and committed for the very long run. This is a more than 30-year project in Malaysia. It's the largest Australian industrial development in Malaysia, and Malaysia was chosen out of basically, let's call it a global talent quest, where we went around the world looking at where we thought the best combination of circumstances and the best destination would be for a most important capital investment for the company.